It's 1 p.m. on a Thursday, which means her pickleball pathway, coffee talk. And this week we are talking about drives and drops and our third shot. We're going to go over a little bit on location and then how we look to use the location of our third in order to set up the point and put us in the best possible position to win that point. And then we're also going to talk about technique on the thirds and the difference between the drive and the drop and how little those differences really are. All right, so first up, where do I hit my drop or drive? Well, I have a lovely little pickleball court here. Let's say you have the returner here running in, their partner's here, and then you and your partner are right down here. If you are hitting your third, especially early on in the game, 90% of your shots should be going to the person who's running in. Do not go to this person who is 100% planted. That makes no sense. They should be very balanced and they should have a good opportunity to hit a very good ball back, and that'll keep you back at the baseline instead of advancing to the kitchen. If you go to the returner who's running in, they're more likely to be off balance, and that's more likely to give you either a shorter ball here or maybe a pop-up that you can crash, take it out of the air, and then attack. So 90% of the shots are going to the person who's running in. And then in terms of location, specifically to this person on where you hit, well, it depends a lot on where the return is. So if the return is anywhere over here and there is an angle to hit it short and drop, that'll bring this person here, which gives you an opening, and it's less likely that their partner will come over to the middle and hit the fourth. So we're really trying to put them under a lot of pressure on the fourth shot. So pulling them wide to the pockets, a lot of the times it's referred to, will help open the middle of the court and then also ensure that this person who's fully planted, who is looking to help their partner by taking the fourth to give them more time to get to the line and establish their balance, that they are less likely to hit the ball. So we want to go to the person running in, and then if we can create an angle, and especially if we get a cross court drop, this is a larger distance going this way than going straight down the line. So let's say if they return down the line straight in front of them, and then the person on the left gets the shot. Well, if they hit a forehand and they want to go crossbody, that'll give them more distance than if they go straight in front of them. Even though this is to their backhand, still a good option. This gives them a little bit more distance if they're feeling a little bit uneasy on the drop. So, especially when I start a game, I try and take as many balls with a little bit of a cross court, cross body trajectory in order to give myself the largest margin for error. Because usually when you start, you might be a little bit nervous or a little bit tight. And so I want to pick larger percentages and bigger areas of the court so I can really hit to them versus being a little bit tentative and kind of maybe pulling out of it and not doing as well. If this goes to the backhand here, then I might look to drop if I'm dropping, crossbody here, or this is where I might go, the 10%, where I might go over here to this pocket, even though this person is planted, it is their backhand. And then also this person is running. So then if they do not hit a great fourth shot from here, then I can look to attack the middle, and hopefully this person hasn't reestablished or established their balance up at the kitchen. In terms of drives, if I feel like they haven't got to the line, I will look to drive to them. Anytime that I can catch the person off balance or back, I'm gonna drive as much as I possibly can. Um, and then, yeah. So that's why it's a good idea on the return to return in front of you. It makes it harder for this person to drop down the line. And then not only that, but it allows less angle for the court. So it allows your partner to step over and really be big in the middle and hopefully take the fourth for you to be able to establish your balance up at the kitchen. All right. So we're driving if this person, we can catch them off balance, or if they just don't make it to the line. And then we're looking to drop if we feel like they have fully established their balance, because the drop will give us more time to get to the line and get closer to the kitchen. Versus a drive, I probably will only take one step, maybe two if they pop it up and I can really come in and crash. So that's what we're talking about in terms of location. The more we can pull them off the court, the more it exposes the middle. And then we can look to attack that and attack their movement. Now, let's talk a little bit about technique and the differences in our technique between our drop and our drive. A lot of people will set up from between the drop and the drive completely different. This immediately tells your opponents exactly what you're hitting so that they can be prepared. If the person that I'm playing takes a big backswing and they can no longer see their paddle on the third, I know that they're driving at me. So it's less important for me to like get to the kitchen and more important for me to like brace for impact and get ready to absorb it. And they're probably looking to crash after that. If I know the person has no backswing and I know that they do have a backswing on their drive, then I know that they're gonna drop it. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit. I'm gonna try and read the trajectory of their drop. If I feel like it's gonna be high, I will really rush to the kitchen to try and lean and get my contact point as far over the kitchen as possible. So if I wanna be really aggressive, and let's say I'm this person here, the more I can make contact here over the kitchen, the higher the height I can get the ball, and the more trajectory down I can get it to attack their feet. If I attack their feet, most people, I would say 4-7 and below, will not either be smart enough or good enough to reset that, and they will take the ball that you hit to them out of the air and they will counter it back, which means they will be countering from below the net. They have to hit up, which gives me an easy put away from above the net to take wherever I want. So, reaching over the kitchen allows me to get a little bit more height versus if I take that same ball and I wait for it and I'm more upright in my stance instead of hinged over a little bit, then I'm not gonna get as much height. I may not be able to now attack that ball. And so because I can't get the trajectory down, now I'm just hitting a neutral out of the air shot versus a shot to set up an attack. And pickleball, especially with paddle technology, is just getting more and more aggressive. So I am looking for any way to attack that I possibly can, but everybody's hands are getting much better. So if you attack them waist height and above, they are going to be fine. In order to be really successful, you need to take a little bit of pace off if the ball is slightly below the net to get your ball to dip so that they are countering from below the net. They will hit it hard, it will rise, you can then hit down. And then if you want to catch it a little further, you're trying to get that contact point further out in front to get the higher height to then dip it again. All right, let's talk about our technique. First of all, when you are hitting a drop or a drive, I want you in a closed stance. This means if I can see both of your hips and both of your shoulders as your opponent, you are in an open stance. A closed stance is side on, where my hips and my shoulders are turned. Now, naturally, when I do this, my hand is in line with my body. So I need to turn while extending my arm forward to be more in my contact point versus it allowing it to come back with me. So we're extending forward, but also turning our body. The turn of your body with your hips and your shoulders, think of it like a spring that is coiling. You're building your rotation and you're building your strength. And then if you choose to drive, you fire that right hip. If you're hitting a forehand and you're a right-hander, you fire that right hip and you bring that leg around and you come through. Your swing path is more like if I'm hitting sideways, more still low to high, but more through the ball because we want the ball to travel very much like this and then dip. And then if we're hitting a drop, same thing. I still want to get side on because I do not want them to know what I'm about to hit until right before contact. So I get side on, I still extend forward, so my contact point is out in front. I fire my hip, not quite as much, but my hip does start my swing. And then my swing path is more up, not through the ball. So I always want to swing low to high if I'm hitting topspin, but if I want a higher trajectory drop, which more times than not I do because the higher I hit, the more time it buys me to get into the kitchen. But I want to put a lot of spin on that. So I have to really accelerate up because spin slows the ball down. However, when it bounces, it kicks off a lot faster. The spin also allows the ball, the more spin you have, the shorter in the court your ball lands. So my drive, I want to hit really deep. So I still want a little bit of spin, but I'm not swinging as fast up the ball. I'm swinging more through the ball because that's the trajectory I want the ball to go. My drop, I'm swinging more up the ball because I want that arc and then I want it dipping. And then I'm looking to come in after that. On the drop, I will not swing and let my back foot come around, so my hips will not be in ready position after that. It will kinda be more of like a golf swing where I stay, my hips come around, but my right foot is still behind my left. So it looks, yeah, a little bit more like a golf finish. Um, One thing I noticed, we ran our first indoor clinic for her pickleball pathway 2 days ago on Tuesday, and with my 3 5s to 4-0, a big thing that people were doing technique-wise is I'm hitting this way, their elbow would come behind their shoulder. Now, if I am here, I'm going to swing forward, which moves the apex of my shot way too far down the court. So when we got into live ball points, most people were opting to drive. And when I asked why, they said, because it's a sure thing. We know for sure that we're going to make that shot. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting. And I really watched their technique. And a lot of them had the same issue that we spoke about, where it was like, no, I need you to extend forward first. This is your contact point. Your hand needs to be in front of your wrist, in front of your elbow, and in front of your shoulder. And then if you think about it, like if you think of a medicine ball throw where you're like throwing as far as you can, you're using your legs, you're using your hips, your core rotation, and then really the last thing you're using is your arms. You're not just going to throw the ball. If you just use arms only, you're not going to throw the ball further than if you're using your entire body. And also your legs and your core are larger muscle groups and a lot stronger than your arm. So Making sure the contact point is out in front, that also relaxes my arm, which allows me to swing faster and have more paddle speed than if I'm back here and you can see already, like I don't have much of a bicep, but you can see my muscles are more engaged. And so the more tension in your arm, the slower your swing. So make sure and really feel if you cannot see your paddle, when you're getting ready for your drive and your drop, your backswing is too big. You do not need a backswing. Your challenge for this weekend is see if you can set up, and every time I want you to pick a shot before you even hit it. I want you to say, I'm going to drive this. I want you to get in position, and at the last minute, I want you to change your mind and hit a drop. How successful are you in doing that? And then do it the other way. Think you're gonna hit a drop, change your mind last minute, and hit a drive. I can 99% assure you that if you set up for a drop and then hit a drive, you'll be fine. If you set up for a drive and do your regular swing and then try and hit a drop, the likelihood of that drop being not great is very high. So make sure that you can change your mind and you can drop or drive and you're set up in the exact same position. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. I am more than happy to break down some technique videos if you want to send in a 30-second clip of you maybe side on or from the front or the back, and we can take a look at it next week. And yeah, thank you so much. The next Her Pickleball Pathway Clinic is next week. 3-5 to 4-0 is 9 to 11, and then 3-0 to 3-5 is 11:30 to 1:30. I'm super excited. Have a great rest of your Thursday and work on those drives and those drops.